Boy, it's been an exciting day. A lot of new dogs and cats have joined this channel's viewers. I really enjoy their company and and also the problem solvers are solving a lot of problems. Apparently, they're so successful that Mitch McConnell has reached out and is trying to get some more tartar sauce for his lobster. Some Democrats have reached out and said, we're doing this pot bill. Do you have a light? And then my favorite is Larry Kudlow. He reached out and he's like, problem solvers, I need help balancing my checkbook. What is 1 + 1? Hey, good evening, everybody. This is Evenings LALATE. Hope you're good and safe. What a great day it's been. A lot of incredible, great news across the board with 3 stimulus bills percolating, simmering. Here we are. I'm here. You're here. Your dog and cat is here. Everyone's involved, and we're solving problems with the problem solvers. As always, go to the front of the channel and subscribe and drop your comments below, and we may feature them in tomorrow's recording. And then like this video. It really helps on the rankings. This is an incredible day on Evenings LA that starts every day at 6:30 with the check, and then after this I have a big special. You have to tune in for that special. It's a special only on the Temple of Doom. Oh boy, I'm really going for it tonight. So make sure you tune in for that one. You are going to want to put down your cup of coffee because it's a good one. But boy, it is a big day. Yesterday, thank you for bringing this channel to 250,000 subscribers. First channel ever to reach that in 4 months. But let me get to the incredible great news. This is a day in which you really have almost 5 paths to get you money on top of all the existing paths. If you have not applied for PUA and UI under CARES Act 1, you still can for any benefits you got from March all the way up to July. If you qualify for LWA, you get LWA. But as we sit here for stimulus checks, there's a lot of other things happening right now. You have not 1, but 3 bills that are percolating. You have simmering of an executive order to get you stimulus checks. And then you also have the states that are going to start sending out grant money to their citizens because they have all this money that's about to expire and they have to use it or lose it. But most of the attention nationally has not been on all these, other items, which all get you money, because that's my focus, is to get you money, has been what happened with a group called the Problem Solvers Caucus today. I detailed them several weeks ago. They're a group of Republicans and Democrats, and they went to the Temple of Doom. She did not want to talk to them, no joke. And then she went to Mark Meadows. He discussed with him what we need in a second stimulus package. Well, I told you yesterday they're introducing the bill, and they introduced it today. Now, before I get to the bill, which is absolutely categorically incredible great news, I want to touch on 2 things. First, the first thing of incredible great news is the following. You literally see coverage of them everywhere today. I mean, somewhere, Mitch McConnell's pissed off because Mitch Onse is hardly getting coverage like this ever. I mean, they're like the Taylor Swift of the Congress today. They are literally in every single news story you could possibly see. I was seeing upwards of 24 news stories, broadcasts. Every single major leading news publication was running multiple articles about them per day. They are absolutely everywhere. This is incredibly great news because it's about getting people your checks. And if the subject matter is not front page news, you're not going to get it. They did exactly what they're supposed to do. That's the great news to start before I get to the details of their incredible bill you should be so excited about. The second thing that I want to touch on is this question I got from a lot of viewers earlier today. I got questions from viewers that can be interpreted from 2 different regards. One is people just simply asking me what the situation is, and then other people that are just trying to be negative Nancy's. That's my new expression, negative Nancy's. Negative Nancy's are people who basically say, Nancy Pelosi doesn't like it, so else. That will not be allowed on this channel going forward. If you are a person that defaults to whatever Nancy Pelosi tells you, and that's your outlook on life, and you're going to be negative about everything, that is not the purple power. We're not going to allow that here. Let me explain what the situation procedurally is with this group. This is incredibly great news. So they introduced a bill today. And the bill calls for stimulus checks, $1,200 stimulus checks, $500 for minor dependents, $500 for adult dependents. It does not take out for child support. There's no language in there that takes out for child support. There is no limitation on the number of household members in the bill that I saw as well. So all those things are now answered. There's also a $450 FPUC extension, but it strangely appears to look like it starts in October. It's very unclearly worded. It would be 8 weeks of $450 and then 5 weeks of $600 after that from October to January of FPUC. There's no $100 minimum like LWA. This is all incredible, great news. There's $50 billion for EIDL. Yes, more EIDL. It's not clear if it's EIDL grant or EIDL loan. There's more PPP. There's money. There's a student loan forgiveness. There's money for food. And there's money for rent aid, rent grants. A lot of incredible stuff. I'll be getting to it shortly in more detail. But I want to go over the procedural question because I got a lot of viewers who simply were just being, respectful and asked, what's the procedural situation? The procedural situation with any bill is the following. It's introduced either into the House or Senate first. And then it sort of floats there. And then people discuss it, and they may go to subcommittees. They may analyze it. And then someone puts it up for a vote. Sometimes it gets merged with another bill. Sometimes the two bills or three bills get compact together. Or they see that there's a problem with another bill, and they use this bill to fix the other bill. Then it's put up for a vote. It does not require that the leader of that respective structure to put it up for a vote. They cannot kill putting up for a vote. That again then goes up for a vote, and if it passes that body of Congress, then it goes to the other body of Congress, and then that other body of Congress has to do much the same, and then they vote on it, and if it passes, then it goes to the president for signature. So you have to do 3 steps. You have to pass the House, you have to pass the Senate, and you have to be signed by the president. I've detailed this before, but I understand there's a lot of new viewers to this channel. So nothing is done. Nothing becomes law in 24 hours. It's just like, so I got some of those comments like, is it law today? No, it just got introduced this morning. How fast could it be law? Nothing has ever, I don't think, has ever passed 3 steps in 24 hours, let alone 3 days. How fast do things move? It's just Congress. They don't move that fast. So that is where we are procedurally. Now, there's no difference as to what the situation is tonight. I'm going to explain to you where the spin is, and this was what makes me very pissed off. I got to keep it positive on this channel. That's why you got to watch the next video. There are people who are saying, Nancy rejected it. Well, what does that mean? She said, I don't like it. Okay, I got that. She said that this morning, I don't like it. She said this afternoon, I don't like it. She said later in the day, I don't like it. Someone else said, I don't like it. Okay, I got it. We've also said the same thing about your bill, Nancy. We don't like it. Does that mean anything to us? No. Does it mean anything procedurally about it? No. And so some people were asking, it was rejected. As though it's procedurally rejected. No, it's not procedurally rejected. It's just a woman who came out and says, I don't like your damn bill, and then slam her door. I mean, that's basically what it is. So there's nothing else to that besides that. More about that in a second, but I just want to explain that right off the bat because a lot of people are asking this question. So let me get to the incredible great news about the bill. The bill provides incredible relief across the board for so many things. $240 billion for PPP, $145 for another round of PPP, money for schools, colleges, and universities. First, $15 billion for child care, $100 billion for K-12, $130 billion for local COVID. And here we go. This is the stuff that you want to hear about. A lot of money for families. Workers, hold a second. There's so many pages here. I should have buttered my butter first. $1,200 stimulus check. $1,200 stimulus check. And for adults, for dependents, $500. No limit on the amount of dependents are indicated. No taken out for child support. This is incredibly great news. Now, obviously, we want a $1,200 dependent check, but these are Republicans and Democrats, and they both agreed to $1,200 for non-dependents, $2,400 for married couple, and $500 for dependents not taken out for child support. There's no language of child support in there. And if you're on SSDI, SSI, and Social Security benefits, you would get a second stimulus check under this bill. The FPUC would be $600 the last couple weeks, and initially the first few weeks, $450 a week. This is incredibly great news because this is more than anything we've ever seen. You know, Mitch offered $300, Steve Mnuchin from the president offered $400, the Temple Doom was stuck at $600, which no one's ever going to give you. So this is all incredibly great news. Now, here is what you need to understand going forward. This is one of 3 bills legislatively to get you stimulus checks. We also have executive orders, and we also state and local to give you stimulus. More about that in a second. Legislatively, last week we thought we had no path to get you stimulus checks. Now we have at least one introduced today. It's not dead. It's not dead. It's not rejected. These verbs that people are sort of pontificating about is really quite incorrect. So I'm sorry someone's confusing you about it. We have 2 other bills coming. We have one for the Blue Dog Democrats, and we have one for the new age. I always say the name wrong. The trans group, the New Age Democrats. Why do we know this? Because Bloomberg had an interview with them and said they're doing bills. They're coming. What's different about today's bill is it's bigger. It's $1.5 billion. It's a great amount because it's exactly where the president would agree upon if this landed on his table for signing if passing by both houses of Congress. This is incredibly great news. But what's really great news is about it is it's saying, hey, let's put on front page news. Let's put on every major news channel. Let's put it on the broadcast news channels, the print news, the online news, everywhere. There's a problem. And the problem is, and so it's actually saying, here's the problem, let's get it done. Now, this is what you need to understand. When the story first broke pre-dawn, I mean, the sun wasn't even out here. I covered it on Mornings LA. You know, it wasn't even 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. They announced it. They introduced the bill. They were on CNBC before the sunrise. Immediately, the Temple Dew says, I don't like it, and how dare them. They're basically Republicans. She called members of her own party, who are half of this group, who are Democrats, Republicans. Really awful. And she also called it, waste of time. Okay, that's fine. Thank you so much. So that was earlier in the day. Well, she wasn't done then. Then she, later in the day, was asked about it again. She said, I reject it. Okay, fine, you reject it. I appreciate that. And then she got 1 or 2 other of her flunkies to basically say the same thing. I reject it. Okay, fine, you don't like it. I got it. We didn't think you're going to accept it. I mean, you didn't want, when they went to go meet with you, you didn't even open the door. So we got that. Then what happened thereafter was she gave a new statement that said, we're committed to staying here in Washington until we get an agreement for second stimulus checks. Now, this is not the first time this has happened. And this is why she really sometimes just gets under your skin. She said, we're willing to stay here and get something done. First of all, I don't know who this we is. This is what's hysterical about this comment, because she's in the House, and the House is not holding up the deal. She's the one holding up the deal. The bill is in the Senate. It's already passed the House. So she's saying the House is going to stay in town to get this done. There's nothing for you to get done except your pot bill. What needs to get done is you meeting with Steve Mnuchin and negotiating and getting off your stupid 3-point whatever amount is. So she's making it sound as though other people in her group aren't getting stuff done when it's her. That's the first part of the story, which is very peculiar. The next part of the story is that when she said we're staying in town to get stuff done, some news reports then ran the story. Oh, the problem solvers were successful. They got her to stay in town to work and start meeting and negotiating to do a second stimulus negotiations, to kickstart second stimulus negotiations. It's only logical that was what seemed to occur because we had problem solvers all over the news today. And she comes in suddenly, as soon as they talk about the problem and they introduce her bill, she says, we're going to stay in town and not leave until we get a deal done. So then they reached out, local press, to her to ask what's going on. Does this mean that the problem solvers, gave you some oomph to get this negotiation? She said, "Oh, absolutely not. We're just not changing on a number. Don't come to me unless you have exactly the same number. I don't like anything about the problem solvers. We're not changing our position." It's that sort of like horrible, approach to the situation that's just so crazy. So as you sit here tonight, should you feed into her hate and her anger and her bad negotiation skills? No. Should you accept that she's rejected anything? No. Should we care what she says? No. Should we rest our concern on what she or her thinks? No. What she should be doing is understanding that this article was published by Associated Press 2 hours ago, and the article 2 hours ago came after three times in which she's rejected their proposal, and the article's title was "Progress is Getting Made on Second Stimulus Because of a Group That is Breaking with Her Caucus." I mean, that's basically exactly what I've been telling you all day long. Now, as we sit here today, that's just one path. We have two other bills that are coming. The third path is the executive order. Now, remember, a week ago today, we had nothing. All we had for legislative purpose. Now we have three possible paths for legislative purposes. But the one that really seems to be the major one that viewers of this channel thinks is going to happen is the executive order. And the executive order now is getting more logistics, more logic, more oomph by a group of nonpartisan people saying, send out stimulus checks. Send out $1,200 stimulus checks. Send out $500 dependent checks. Guess what? If the president does it, all he has to do is say, hey, I'm sending them out. I got the money. I have the money here. And guess what? This group of nice problem solvers who are bipartisan recommended exactly the amount of money that I'm sending out to you. And the Democrats with Nancy Pelosi didn't want you to have this money. It's literally teeing up perfectly for an executive order, exactly because what she's doing is so contrary to what is effective for her party. So the great news as we sit here tonight is that the events of today really tee up an executive order more than ever before. It shows why an executive order is needed now. It shows that bipartisan support is to do exactly what an executive order would do, which is $1,200 stimulus checks. The president wants to give you $1,200. The president wanted to give you $500 dependents and adult dependents. I've been covering that, for a couple of weeks, and I didn't know if the problem solvers were going to do $1,200 dependents. They did $500. So the president does an executive order for $500 dependents and minor dependents and does not take out for child support, and does a family of 3 or 4, then it's supported by exactly what the problem solvers did today. It's absolutely categorically great news. Now, what's also really great news is still the issue that became the world exclusive on this channel over the weekend, which is this absolute deplorable scandal of states getting COVID-19 funds under the first stimulus package, not dispersing it to its citizens, hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, and using 5% of the money, 10% of the money, or using it for purposes unapplicable, ineligible purposes that have nothing to do with COVID-19, or actually trying to wait it out and trying to use it for purposes that it does not qualify for, whether it's travel commercials or cameras or making their police force look nice. The great news about that tonight is that a lot of cities and states and counties are now going to start spending that money on you because they have to. It's called use it or lose it. The money is expiring. They've been told it's expiring. So they're rushing to spend it on grants, which are grants, stimulus, rent, food, and similar things like that in hazard pay. So, and a lot of you have dropped in the comments, where do I go look for that? You just have to go into Google News, Bing News, and look for keywords like whatever you're looking for. If you're looking for food aid, you would type in your city. Let's say it's Los Angeles plus food aid plus CARES Act or something like that. The keywords are your city or county's name, the plus, and then CARES Act, CARES, new word act, and then see if there's something happening. And if you look today, don't just say, oh, I found nothing today, I'm not going to look at it again, because that's just not, these things are happening very, very quickly. So you need to look all the time. I did one yesterday where Waco, Texas just announced a rent program just that day. Now, if you're in Waco and you can go look for it and you didn't hear it on the local news or it wasn't on the local news, then you would not have known about it. That's what's incredible, great news. So as we go into tomorrow, so much more, so much incredible hope. And coming up next after this video is an incredible video about the scandal brewing on what the Temple of Doom is doing against you. Stay tuned for that. It's absolutely going to make your socks curl. As always, if there's ever a day to go to the first channel, go do it today. Go to the first channel, hit the subscribe button, and drop your comments below. We may feature them in tomorrow's recording. And then like this video. The algorithm really appreciates it. You've been doing an incredible job. The spirit of the Purple Power is to keep things positive, motivated, focused, and educated. As always, stay with LALATE for more.